My name is Sarah Turner, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of CeraThrive.com, which is a red light technology company.
Earlier. So let me tell you about this. There is an advance, which we're talking about in a moment, in photobiomodulation therapy. It is designed to try and fight Parkinson's and motor neuron disease, certainly the symptoms thereof, or perhaps try and reverse the condition altogether. PBM uses red light, infrared light actually, so it's not in the visible part of the spectrum. Special LEDs can be attached to the head. Their light stimulates cell energy production, helping to protect some brain cells and encouraging new connections between neurons, which may well lead to preventing cell death. Now, I have to say, we're a long way from a treatment or even a cure for these conditions, but certainly this is a step towards that possibility. I had a conversation yesterday with Professor Paul Chazot in the Department of Biosciences at Durham University.
I've been working with photobiomodulation for over 23 years, and I've been involved in actually understanding how light of a particular wavelength, and this is in the infrared range, the invisible part of the light spectrum, can actually have biological effects, so can modulate and change cells within the body, and for benefits, basically. Can we change the biology of the cells in the body, particularly in the brain? I'm a neuroscientist, so I'm particularly interested in the brain. Can we change the cells, make them more healthy, and basically live and thrive longer in the body?
Tell me about the transmission of this particular type of infrared light. Have you had to design a new device? How did you come to the design you use?
Okay, so the light itself is the one I've been mostly working on over the years is around the 1070 nanometer wavelength. So it's quite a long wavelength, but interestingly, it actually penetrates the brain very effectively. There's other wavelengths within the spectrum that penetrate more or less as well. Now, what you need is a device that fits the head, or in this case, actually, the device that we're talking about today is a unique device that actually focuses on the brain and on your gut, because there's a strong connection between your gut and your brain. And in fact, some of the major diseases potentially can arise from the gut originally and then end up in the brain and cause problems in the brain. So the design of the device is important. So you have a head device, and in this case, with the CeraThrive device, you have a gut component, which is a pad that runs across the gut. So it's a dual device.
And you have to use both, do you?
Well, in this particular design, it is a unique design, actually, and it's taking advantage of our growing knowledge that, the gut and the brain do interact, and, maybe the sources of diseases start in the gut and end up in the brain. So, but majority of the other devices, we work with other devices that just focus on the head, and you use a sort of helmet design. But this one is actually quite unique, and it seems like, for example, for diseases like Parkinson's and motor neuron disease, that has some relevance because, as I said, we're starting to believe that actually a lot of the brain diseases originate in your gut. So the health of your gut is very important, and that's what this device can give you.
Good heavens. Does that mean that to find the answers to Parkinson's and motor neuron disease, we might not look at the head so much? We should actually look at the gut?
I think we should certainly look at both. There's definitely growing evidence that the gut has some involvement in the early stages of brain diseases. In fact, some of the early symptoms before you think you have, these brain diseases, there's growing evidence that there's gut problems. right at the beginning of your journey, if you like. And yes, so these are very,
and the one could be leading to the other. So there's a sort of progression,
yes.
potentially. Okay, yet to be established. We should get back to the particular things that your red light is stimulating in the cells. You described it as being able to reach these cells in a way that no other treatment has done so far. In broad terms, motor neuron disease and Parkinson's has a phenomenon where cells either are not working, or they die, or they're not doing the job that in perfectly fit and healthy people they do. Can you return them to good health by using this red light stimulation?
Well, there is that potential, and a lot of the preclinical evidence would suggest that there is that potential. And I like to call it the 3 N's. So what you want if you want to treat a brain disease in particular, you want to have neuroprotection, so you need to protect the nerve cells in some way. You also neuroplasticity, and that's a fancy term really to think about in terms of connectivity and adaptation, so the cells can actually adapt and resist the stresses of age. And the third N is actually called neurorepair. So there is potential of approaches like photobiomodulation of actually repairing neurons that are damaged. So those are the 3 N's that you want to have if you want a good, the perfect way of making a real difference in brain diseases. So yes, we have evidence, growing evidence for those 3 N's are achieved with a technique like photobiomodulation.
Professor Paul Chazot there from the Department of Biosciences at Durham University.